My name is Marcela Lobos. I grew up in South America in a dictatorship. There was a lot of violence, terrorism while I grew up. And then I was out of there when I was a teenager. And I went looking for my soul's journey. I went following my dreams and my soul's calling. And I ended up in the United States and married to a person that looked very luminous, beautiful, blue eyes, blonde, gentle, kind person. And I was very naive and trusting, and I went with him in a year-long journey, traveling throughout every country in South America. And in that process, I realized that he had an aspect of him that was very dark. And he started abusing me and used a lot of violence against me. And next thing you know, I was with 2 children, married to him, and the abuse never stopped. I was emotionally, psychologically, and physically abused. And in that process, my soul, part of my soul fled. And I just found myself trapped in a situation with a lot of darkness, and life stopped having meaning. I was just so trapped. I had no meaning for my life. Finally, I had the opportunity to re-encounter myself, re-encounter my light, and it was thanks to the shamanic path, the path that I'm following, my spiritual path. And I went through the process of receiving the rites of initiation. And by receiving these rites and a training in the shamanic path, I was able to transform my life fully to the extent that everything around me changed. All my old patterns, paradigms were left behind, and I live a life that's completely different. In very short time, my life completely shifted. And I have to say now that I feel that I'm aligned with my highest purpose, with my highest destiny. I'm aligned with spirit. I am connected to spirit. I feel 24/7, like my life is a prayer. So I had to completely break through every paradigm, disattach from everything that, like I said, that I thought I had to be. And I came to reinvent my whole life. And got rid specifically and in a literal way of everything, including a house, including all my furniture, including my children, my marriage, everything. And I created from, I created exactly what I wanted. It's like, it feels really like the phoenix that rises from the ashes. It really feels like that. And now I live exactly the reality I want to live. I didn't have to do all this by myself. I had a lineage of luminous beings, of medicine men and women that came before us, that are helping me along the way, that are inspiring me and guiding me to answer to my highest destiny. I feel like I set my intention, but I leave open the ways of the outcome. How is the outcome going to be, and the process of the outcome, how it's going to be. It's open because I leave it open to possibilities that I can't even imagine, because I know spirit's a lot more creative than my human mind can be. So I allow it to something so much bigger to happen that I can't even think about. So I feel like at the end of the day, the most important thing for me is always to trust, 100%, to always trust. And as long as I keep trusting, it's there for me. When you stop trusting, fear creeps in. And where fear creeps in, you're sabotaging yourself, you know, and your reality and your dreams. So, and I used to think that fear was human, that because we're human, we're allowed to have fear. And because we're humans, we were allowed to have anger and jealousy. And a little jealousy was healthy, and a little anger was healthy, and a little fear was healthy. Now I realize that that's dark energy. It's heavy energy. And I don't need any, not even 0.0% of that. So every time some little darkness, some little fear, some little heavy energy is coming to me, I call spirit, I bring in the light, and that goes away. And I can be that luminous being. I feel like I can be like a fire that is always going. And any fear, anger, it tends to like dim my fire. But if you keep your fire always going strong, then you're just being this luminous being. You're shining the light. And that's the way I feel, I discover I can help the world and people the most, by making my fire bigger and bigger and just alive. And just you walking along the way, people that have their light turned off or so dim, they can just bring their little candle and light from your fire. And this fire is endless. It's always there. It never stops going.
Hi, my name is Deborah Ray, and I'm a mind-body practitioner and have been for about 20 years. Since going through the Light Body School and doing this work, it has really changed what I do with clients. I have different perceptual states that I now have available to me, different sort of empowerments that enable me to cue in more directly to my clients' needs and how I may facilitate their healing, their growth, their change, and what is important to them in their life. What brought me to this work was an experience that I had in traveling with friends in Peru, and I saw different modalities, a different way of working with people for healing, and I realized that there was really so much more that I could be offering, and so I began a process of working with Alberto and the school and going through the rites of passage that allowed me to feel more in contact, more empowered and in communication and in relationship to the world around me, to nature and to the various forces in nature, to feel like I wasn't so alone in this world, that this world was really my world and it was a part of my existence, and that as I put out a need for help or for vision or for insight or healing, that it was there and available right at my fingertips, and therefore available to my clients, my family, my friends. My life actually is very different as a result of going through the passage of the rites. I have so much more hope for this world. I have a greater sense that we all are participants and creators of what we want next on this planet, and that we are not victims to what's occurring at this time. And I've never had that kind of hopefulness in my life, ever. And I find myself, this has grown within me since receiving those rites. And I'm at a state right now where I have a lot of joy, and I see through joyful eyes. I see things differently, I perceive them differently. And so it's very exciting. And then I begin to feel, I could almost create anything I want. And that excitement is fed to my clients, who get very excited as well, and they feel empowered and they don't feel so alone. We are creators of our universe. And what I really value about this work and the rites is the relationship that I now feel so strongly with nature, and that when we are in perfect relationship or accord with nature, that it's right there sort of serving us as we are responsive to it. And just yesterday I was having a thought about the wasps that want to create nests right under the eaves by the back door to the patio, and I was thinking that I like them, but I don't want to do away with them, but what can I do? And I looked up this yesterday morning, and here was a blue jay just flying up under and knocking out the one wasp nest that had been created there, knocking the wasps off it. And I was absolutely in awe. I didn't have to do anything about these wasp nests. You know, there were my friends in nature, the blue jays, taking care of it for me. And I thought, well, what a perfect example of how, you know, nature loves us as we love it. You know. In my own personal healing, this work has been of great benefit to me. I have noticed that after receiving the rites, I began to grow a strength in my own field of energy that empowered me in situations where I would not have normally in the past felt empowered, and I might have backed away or not known what to say or how to react. And I found myself feeling fully in the moment and able to respond without reacting in a way that served everyone, it seemed, at that moment. It was quite surprising, and that I've had that experience a number of times. I found it with my clients, feeling very strong in different centers where we've had the rites, and it just able to call on the universe, the forces around me to participate in what I'm doing, to facilitate it in a way that I know I'm not alone, and I'm helped, and I'm aided in my own healing. My own physical body is aided. It's been quite life renewing for me on a physical, mental, emotional, spiritual level. It's been wonderful.
Hello, I'm Adam Hall, and I'm 45 years of age now, and I'm a native California. And I'm here in Malibu at my home, and I've lived in Malibu for the last 25 years. And it's interesting today, I really want to share with you the experience I've had doing the work, the shamanic work, over the last couple of years that it was initially introduced to me. And it's been a complete transformational experience for me. And if I could, I'll share a little bit with you my time and what my life was prior to the work, and that will help put it in context. And I was married. I'm no longer married. I have 3 gorgeous girls in my life, 3 young daughters who have been angels for me and have blessed me with their lives and their teachings. And I run a real estate development company here in Santa Monica, and we've been developing affordable housing, somewhat for seniors and somewhat for market rate, here mainly in the LA region and the Ventura County markets. And for the past 2 years, I've been doing quite a bit of extensive work, the shamanic work. And the work has come to me in an interesting way. It came at a time when I had a calling. I didn't quite know what that calling was. I felt that my life that I was leading was truly not where I was as an authentic being and what my true calling was. And because of that calling, I began to listen to the sounds of the world and the sounds of nature. And I had decided that I was going to reach out and open myself to my greater destiny and greater purpose. At a great, potentially what some would say a great cost, because it meant a complete change in my life, both professionally and personally. Take a look at anger. I had to take a look at love and coming to love in my life, to come to unconditional love. And putting that in the context of a family was, for me, a great challenge. And but the work has allowed me to step beyond those fears and to see those fears and to see that anger and to not only see it, but go to a place deep within myself where that originated from, and to bring light to that space and to bring healing to that space. And through that energetic work and stepping beyond those fears and stepping into what I clearly perceive as the unknown, and a place that was completely foreign to myself. And as a result of the work and being able to spend the time, it's helped me to transcend those old energies and that past and those experiences that were guiding me. And those experiences didn't come in just this present lifetime. And I've been able to, and I continue to do the work because it's really helped me to go to those places that aren't necessarily the most pleasant places. And it's as a result of that, it's created a healing for myself, and it's created an ability for me to come to a space where I now have an opportunity to come to my ultimate calling, to come to a place today where I can open myself up to my true being, to my purpose, as I was saying, but to really bring that in as my truth and know it, not from my reading or not from my interactions with others in the world, but to know it as being part of my body and my energy body. And what's been happening with the initiation and the rites is that I've been undergoing an experience in which the veil is coming down. The door, as we say, to the portal is being opened for me. I'm no longer keeping myself or preventing myself or running away or whatever we may do. And that veil has been coming down very rapidly. And the results, while it may sound like I've been doing the work for a long time, well, the results, in my humble opinion, have been remarkable, because I've been able to really step through a lot of things that were very difficult, that I would resist or I didn't want to do. But here I am a short time later, and even a very short time period after coming to the rites and doing the rites, being able to bring down that veil and open that door and step into the portal and step through the portal. And this is a place that I now know is the fulcrum. It is the center point of the universe.
Hi, I'm Lizanne Judge. I'm an interior designer by trade. I live in Los Angeles, California. I've grown up here since I was 7, and I love it. I love the mountains and the ocean, and just being in this area makes me just feel good. A little bit of background on my life is that I was raised by Roman Catholic parents early on. We moved to California. My mom quickly became a hippie. And I was exposed to a lot of eccentric, wonderful things and a lot of crazy things. And the wonderful things that she gave me were the love of nature, being connected to nature, feeling comfortable in my body, sort of embracing the goddess. And then there was the insanity, the nudists that would babysit us and want to suck my toes, and the shamans that would come around, and kooky people that sort of dressed up as healers. And so I early on had a mistrust of people that would be healers. So I sort of reverted back to the conservative lifestyle. I really wanted to be mainstream. I didn't want to be an open, hippie, you know, goddess mother. I wanted to be a New York socialite. And I really thought that's where I would find my safety. And I did. I did everything I needed to do to get there. And I got there and I realized, oh, wait, there's really something missing here. Because it didn't include my spirit. It wasn't an authentic life. And so I went into therapy. And I'd heard about people having experiences in psychic healings or shaman work and things where their bodies would convulse or they would burst into tears, and I just thought, that's, you know, whatever, you know, you're nuts. And this first session with John, one of your students, was just incredible, really incredible. He was, you know, didn't wear, you know, funny clothes. He didn't look bizarre. He just was who he was, and he was this incredibly kind, focused person that came into my space, and we talked, and he performed a session on me that was the beginning of, you know, a years of work. And he did this process on me, and when he went back after the soul retrieval and laid his hand on the chakra of the energy that we were working with, which I don't know if I need to go into all of the details, but he laid his hand right here, and I just sobbed. I just sobbed. And it was like, sorry, a second. It was like I was finally able to see who I was. You know, like the deeper sense, the part of me that isn't just in this lifetime, but that carried something forward that had an enormous impact on my life. And sorry, just a second. Anyway, it was a gift, and it was a great beginning. It was an opening, and certainly I felt when he closed the space, I didn't feel like in therapy sometimes people can take you to a dangerous place and leave you there. That wasn't how it felt. It was just now there was a recognition of this, and I feel like I'm living an authentic life, and I feel courageous in the things I do. And you know, I used to be really self-conscious, and I felt like I had to have the right handbag and the right shoes and to show up and have my power outfit on to be accepted by the people that were hiring me to perform a duty that, and you know, it's just doesn't exist for me anymore. It doesn't exist, you know, it's just, I feel I go to these places that are still could be as daunting, with powerful clients and powerful people, and I show up and I am who I am, and it's, if it's meant to be, it works out, and then it works out in such a beautiful way. So it just feels like that's been a gift of this work. And then in the trip to Peru last year that I courageously went on because Adam was going, and I thought, well, he can't have this experience and then come home and for me not to have be able to share that with him. And that was really the motivation for going, is that I didn't want to not understand where he had been. So little did I know it would be one of the greatest gifts for me in my life. But I don't feel like I need to follow any conditioned path. I'm on a path now that my spirit is taking me on, that feels true. And again, I mentioned how I feel more just at one with the universe and more just comfortable in my skin, more accepting of everything. you know, and eager to embrace it more, you know, I feel like I'm vibrating at a different frequency.
I'm Wake. I live in Oregon, mostly on the coast. Whenever I can, I live on the coast. I also have a home in Eugene, and Katie, my partner, and I are developing our work with spirit and developing our relationship with each other. And that started quite some time ago, at least my own search, in terms of the practice of law that I was involved in for over 20 years. And it was only the last year or so of that practice that I realized that I could, in fact, take a break and get off the train and really take a look at what it is that I was doing and what some possibilities of my life could be. Because I had been on the straight and narrow path for quite a while, even though I didn't belong there in the first place. But I did the best I could to practice and serve others in that way. I work with the Four Winds, facilitating classes. I call them shamanic journeys or experiences, where we get to get away from our lives and experience spiritual community and learn a substance and involve ourselves in practice. And so one of the most rich aspects of that is working with people in the rites of the lineage and transmitting them as they've been received by me to others who were welcome to receive the energy of the rites. And it changes them. It changes me in that process, in the terms of being a channel, in terms of being a conduit for the rites of the lineage, for the rites of passage. It transforms people, and it gives them an opportunity to change and to have more power and strength available to them. I love the bands of power. For one thing, they're colorful. They start with rainbow, a fountain of light. They're an organization of energy. It feels like a meeting of us and spirit, where we work with spirit to take the energy of spirit and organize it for our own presence and power and protection. And it's just a very intimate rite to give. And I feel like I've really done something, offered something that people can receive in the bands. And it happens early on. It's like a surprise, a gift, a packaged gift that comes open slowly. And I get to see the delight in the faces of the people. Well, it's calling on the elements. It's bringing in the elements of this world into my life, where the earth, the water, the fire, the air, and pure spirit are available at any moment. And it's part of this aspect of choice that this work involves, is that we get to choose to be fed by the fertile earth, or to be flowing like the rivers, or to be radiating as the sun does, or to have the airs wash through us, to be directly connected to spirit. It enlivens. It gives possibility. It gives nourishment, and it reminds me that these bands can be fed through my every breath, through my every step in the world. And so I find myself much more connected to the place that I am at every moment. The Daykeeper's rites keeps me more in touch with the opportunity that I have of every day, from the rising of the sun to its setting, to how the stars come out. And each time of the day is presents a different quality of energy, and presents a new opportunity for me to be informed in a different way. I live from the inside out. Every day is an opportunity. Every day is different. And every day I get to connect with people and share the life of spirit, tapping into a different part of my day and a different part of the people I meet. I think these rites are important to me because, for one thing, they lead me to my own becoming. They lead me to the way that I can be, that I can possibly be in the world. that even now, whatever state I'm in, there's more and more and more to be unfolding and to be available to. And it's the rites of the times to come that we don't need to wait for, that we're ready for, that I'm ready for right now. And the most crucial rites, the rites, the totality of the rites are the most crucial, really. That there's a whole spectrum, a whole rainbow of rites that enliven me and that gives me a sense of being that I hadn't felt before. I'm in a fantastic personal relationship. I met a woman, Katie, at the winter solstice when I was giving a solstice gathering in my home. And we met there and grew our relationship, and now we're growing in this work together. And because of the work that we share, we're able to be so much more close, that we're really able to travel a path together. Not that we agree all the time. She's ahead of me, I'm behind, to the right, I'm to the left, or to the left, she's to the right, and yet we're on this same journey together, and we recognize that, and we challenge each other to be truly stepping with integrity and with care. Before the work, I felt trapped in my job. I felt trapped in the way of being that wasn't me. And I felt trapped in a relationship that didn't nurture, and I was unable to nurture through that partnership. And now it took a letting go on many fronts. But through the letting go, now I'm much more involved in my heart's passion and seeking what it is that enlivens me. And I have a relationship that is rich and dear and loving and communicative. And it means so much to me to have the opportunity to come through the work, to get support to make the changes that I knew had to come, but I didn't know a way to accomplish them. And it was only through the work itself, that gave me the opportunity, through the people I met, through the rites that empower me, through the understanding and the practices that I've been able to do, that has changed my life in a fundamental way. So now I am truly following my dream and following my passion, and in pursuit of my passion at this time.
My name is Mary Raymakers. I am a healer. I'm an energy healer. I've learned from a very ancient tradition of ancient knowledge on how to do this healing. I came into this work almost like through the back door, so to speak. I was in corporate America a long time ago and became very disillusioned with it and had what probably could be referred to as a breakdown, an emotional breakdown. And I was actively seeking something outside of the material world that I was living in at that time. I was raised Catholic, so I was very familiar with the old ways and traditions of what our world defines, and it wasn't fitting me. And I remember the day that I had my breakdown, I said, I have to find who you really are. And I didn't know what other words to say, but I knew that there was something bigger than me. When I had my breakdown, and the only way that I had at that time to deal with my breakdown was through, you are a sinner, ask for repentance, and it didn't fit me. I was struggling with, it sounds very cliche, but who am I and why am I here if, you know, this isn't, something about this whole dynamic isn't fitting me. And what I found when I went into this tradition, which is now my life's work, what it did is it helped me to understand energy and my relationship with energy, and it allowed me to clear out my pain. What I have heard is that we are turning from Homo sapien into Homo luminous. Well, what does it mean to be a luminous being? And what I tell my clients is how you were made and created in the image and likeness of God is your energy field that every one of us has. But the things that keep us from being who we really are the heavy weight of our emotional pains and traumas. So what this work has done for me is truly get to the bottom of it. Unlike a lot of really wonderful modalities out there, this method has helped me really feel freed from the clutches of the things that have been, haunting me from my dad to, whatever you want to call it out there. It allowed me to come to peace with it and feel more of that joy, that peace, that compassion that we've always heard we should be able to be. This practice and this healing modality allows me and my clients to actually step into that. What the rites have done for me is made me really aware at just how powerful energy is. When I have received the rites, what it has done for me is I feel this energy coming into me that I don't have words. It makes me cry. It makes me get in touch with parts of me that I'm not even aware of how to put words to. They are so powerful. There's a rite that I would say it's a harmony rite. It gets me in touch with the organizing principles of the universe. And what I've learned is that there's many different expressions of it. The DNA has the 4 letters, but for me, what I found personally, as those were, for lack of a better word, planted within my luminous field, it allowed things to clear out and bring things up to the surface that no longer fit this energy of how the world is organized and in harmony with each other. So it gave me an opportunity to work on my stuff, my issues, and as I cleared that out, that energy of these organizing principles became even stronger and took over even more, so that I stepped more into that place and stayed in that place even longer, of that harmonious place. And then when things come up, which that energy will do, it allowed me once again to clear it out. I know what to clear out, so that it takes even more hold in my life. That rite is probably my favorite rite, because I've seen how impactful it is on people that have gone through the training, what it changes within them. And I know what it's changed within myself. As I give the rites, I feel almost something else take over, and it's working through me as I'm blowing that rite into someone. I see, not only see it going in, but I see how it's reacting in their energy field instantly. And then as we go back to classes and I'm watching these people grow and develop, it's just, you see them grow and change like a flower opening up. It's absolutely magnificent. It's beautiful. What I find with this lineage, as I got the rights to be a caretaker of the earth, for example, it made me realize something deep within me that resonated with it as well. I want to take care of our earth, but didn't know how. And this lineage shows me how. What are the things that I can do as Mary Raymakers to make a difference and to be that caretaker and steward of the earth? And that's what I feel that the lineage is passing on to me, what they want from me, so that I can turn around and give it back to them and to our earth. What I've discovered in this lineage is it made me a better Buddhist, a better Taoist, a better Catholic, a better Hindu. It's made me understand how Source really is, which is what when I was mentioning my breakdown and I said, I need to know you as you really are. This lineage allows me to look at what these universal truths were saying and realizing they're saying the same thing. But what this lineage allows for me to do is how to take that information and actively work with that energy, to be a participant in it. So I can recognize, wow, what Christ did, as I read about what he did, I'm doing the exact same thing, and I'm not limited. Anyone can be doing this. What Buddha did, wow, I can do that same thing. What I really want to share is I'm not saying that I'm Jesus. I'm not saying that I'm Gautama Buddha. I'm not saying that I'm Krishna. What I am saying is, if I can quote from the Bible, Jesus said, what I have done, you shall do an even greater. And that's what I believe that this lineage allows me to do, is how do I do that? How do I follow in the footsteps of someone as Jesus and do greater works than he did? If someone can't show me how, if Jesus left a blueprint but doesn't show me how to do greater than he did, and then I'm told I can't, what out there can do that? This work has done that for me. So I'm not being Jesus, I'm just taking what he said I can do and letting Spirit show me how far I can take it.